Hello and welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with real realtors about real stuff, real things, and real estate.
Real
I think we got
estate.
that down.
I thought you said the real estate.
The real estate of California. Real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So today we are going to talk about 8 ways not to get crushed in 2023 if you are a real estate professional.
Yes.
If you're a realtor, this market has shifted. It's already done. It's shifted. It's shifting. It's continually changing, and it's going to get harder. So what are some ways that you can make sure you're going to survive?
Right. There's so many realtors in Chico. I think there's over 600 right now. And then I'm not sure what it is nationally, but it's a lot. There are a lot of realtors. So the first thing you want to do is what Tom Ferry always says, and that's be the knowledge broker.
Yes.
Right?
What does that mean?
I think you just really have to know what's going on in the market in terms of interest rates, in terms of your local, hyper local market. And even knowing like what stuff, like what topics are good for video or how to conduct yourself in business. Mm-hmm. So I know we both do that. One way we do it is by listening to podcasts. Mm-hmm. And
podcasts are huge. There's some really easy to digest, fun ones to listen to that give you so much information, and it is hard to memorize and regurgitate, so you have to work a little bit harder on that end to actually be able to spit out facts and statistics when you're with people.
Right. So some of my favorite are obviously Tom Ferry's podcast. Mm-hmm. That's a great podcast. And then the walkthrough. Those guys are hilarious and fun.
Agent Media.
Yeah,
podcast.
I mean, they really make you feel like you're in a mastermind group with just a bunch of dudes you went to high school with, but it's all educational and great information.
Yes.
I mean, everything from marketing to, getting down to the economics of everything. And they have great guests on. So that is one of my favorites.
And the Overask podcast is also a Broke Agent Media podcast with Eric Simon of The Broke Agent and Matt Leonetti, and they are really, really good. They have guests on every time, and so they have a variety of topics as well. Right. And they're funny.
Yeah, they're funny also. And then there's Bigger Pockets.
Bigger Pockets
I always
is
called it Deeper
great.
Pockets. Bigger Pockets.
A little bit of both, you know. Bigger Pockets is an investment podcast, so that one's really good.
That one's good.
And I think those are kind of my main rotations.
Yeah, for podcasts. And then for information, good information, Keeping Current Matters is 100%. We are watching that a lot.
So they don't have a podcast, but they do have videos. You need to subscribe to Keeping Current Matters, which is, it's not expensive and it's worth every penny. And then you get to watch their weekly updates, or I think is it
monthly.
They have a weekly something, and then they have the monthly deep dives.
Yeah, right. And that's what basically getting into the skinny on the market.
Yep.
I think you can get some of their information too just on their Facebook page without being a member.
Yeah, they have their weekly updates on their Facebook page, and then also their Instagram has tons of infographics you can use.
But you really need to, in my opinion, if you really want to know and you need to know what's happening in the real estate market, 100% become a member.
Yep.
Such good information. Okay, cool. Okay. What is the second thing? Video.
Doing video. We are don't make that noise. We
Sorry.
love video. We are no stranger to video. Video first is so important in this day and age. Tom Ferry has been saying it for like a decade almost, I think, at this point. But people are really, that's how they consume content, and that's how you're going to get your brand out there. Like, that's the main form of branding, because they say, I think it takes 7 times to see a brand before it sticks in your brain, basically. So if you're on social media posting every day, someone's going to see you 7 times like that. Like, they'll see me 7 times in the matter of 2 weeks.
Right. But Kelsey, it's hard to find the time.
It is hard to find the time.
So that's why what we try to do is batch recording.
Yep.
And that's like Kelsey will come in with a few different outfits and sit down with Courtney for, maybe an hour or 2.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah. Well, but the one thing you want to come is prepared with your content, and then you could get through it fairly quickly. Yeah. But if you were just doing this on your own and you weren't on a team that had a videographer, you take an hour for your content, maybe you take an hour for recording, and then you got to take another hour or 2 for editing, but then it's done. You could have 2 or 3, 4 months worth of content potentially, or at least a couple months, right?
Yeah.
So just do it all in one day. Just schedule it from, on a Friday from like 8 to noon, and then you're done for 2 months.
Yeah. It is hard to do on your own because there's a lot of different things like you won't know until you start doing it with the video, like the lighting, the sound quality, how to actually record, how to upload, like the glitches along the way. So it is awesome if you have a videographer on staff to do that for you.
Most agents don't.
Most agents do not have that.
So I would say just do it.
Yeah.
And guess what? That is what you look like. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I really don't like, I wish I could walk around with one of those filters on my face all the time.
Right?
That would be so great. Use a filter if you don't like it, but just get into it. Just do it. And yes, it might be a little time consuming at first. It might not be as good as if a professional was doing it. But I think Courtney's even said, sometimes we get more watches when it's on one that we did ourselves.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
So,
and who knows? We try to figure out the algorithm, and we never figure it out. We've all given up. Even the broke agent's given up on trying to figure out the algorithms. So there's that.
If you don't know who the broke agent is, you should just
go look them up.
Yeah.
If you're a realtor.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 is open houses. What you got to say about that, Brand?
Well, I used to do open houses every single weekend, even on Christmas Eve. Yep. And I walked 5 miles each way, setting out 50,000 open house signs. No, I'm joking. I didn't walk anywhere actually, except to put the signs out. But, I feel like we didn't have, because of the pandemic, we kind of got out of the open house thing.
Yeah.
And I do see a lot more agents doing that now, but you can't just do one and done and expect to get anything out of it. It is consistency, like it is with anything in life. So you go there, you try to do one every single weekend, or pick what you're going to do. I'm going to do 4 open houses in a month. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 weekends and then you're done.
Yeah.
If you can do more, I think that's better. The more people see you, the more you're going to be able to create that relationship, because we have all seen that same open house goer multiple times. And then 3 years from now, when they do decide to sell your other house, they would probably use you. So the business that you're doing, the things you're doing now, is for future business, right? It's a minimum going to take 3 to 6 months for the people that you're meeting today. So I just think it's another way to, where else can you go where someone's interested in your product and they're going to come to you?
Yep, absolutely. And it's not always the point to get a name and number. Sometimes it's just being visible and getting your name out there.
Exactly. I mean, when I was doing them, there was no internet. We had, we didn't have indoor plumbing.
No internet. Wait a second.
I mean, it was just a different time. People didn't look for real estate online.
Yeah.
They looked in the newspaper. And then your name is just like there over and over and over again. So that's another thing. Put your open houses everywhere that you're going to do them. So, all right. Systems is topic number 4.
Okay, organized systems. So what exactly would you recommend agents use to get systemized?
Well, obviously you need a CRM, and I think most agents have that. I mean, you could even just have it in your Google contacts, but somehow, like we use Boomtown, and you could speak better on Boomtown and what Boomtown does for us, but we use Boomtown, Sisu, Trello, BombBomb. What else? Google. We use Google a lot.
I think those are our main things right now.
Right. I mean, and then we have, what are some of the sites we're using? Property ID now to pull numbers. And Mojo. Yeah.
KCM.
So I think, what do you think's the one, if somebody has no system?
A CRM, but a CRM only works for you if you work it.
Right.
So that's the trick there, is you can put, if you're not going to use what the CRM has to offer, then you might as well just have them in your Google contacts. The CRM is there to help remind you to call people. It's there to take notes about your previous conversation. It's there for the email drips. So if you can systemize your system, right? Like, how are you dedicated to using Boomtown or Follow Up Boss or whatever you use, then it's going to help you nurture and follow up on all your leads.
And Boomtown and Follow Up Boss, you basically have a website and you drive traffic to that website, and then they have to register, and it's how you get leads. So it's also a lead source if you want it to be.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is these things aren't cheap.
They're not, but I will say a lot of brokerages provide a CRM. So if money is an issue for you at first because you're a solo agent and you don't have that provided, I would just maybe start by using what your brokerage provides.
And you have to be consistent on tracking your numbers.
Yeah.
And tracking the information when you do your hour of power and you're calling people, like write down what you guys talked about, because you will not remember when you call them back.
You think you're going to remember, especially if you only have like 20 contacts or whatever to start off, you're brand new. You think you'll remember and you don't. Right. Or you forget to call that person for 6 months. And 6 months you're like, it was Gloria, you know, it's just like, you just don't remember.
And then Sisu's great for tracking numbers. I mean, just, you know, Google or YouTube Sisu if you you're interested in finding out about that. And then Trello we use as a management board for our escrows and so it starts out with our listing. And then, so our listing manager will go in and put the listing in there. And then when we have a showing, we put the agent that's showing it and the feedback. And then we send that link to our seller so that they can look at what's happening. And depending on their personality type, I mean, sometimes they're in there all the time and other times. And it also gives you, once it goes into escrow, all the escrow information, the contingency dates. It's just staying, you know, you'll have your client go, so when do I have to remove this contingency? And I'm like, oh, let me look. I can't remember. You know, you just go straight to Trello and it's right there. So I love Trello.
Yeah,
I know.
Trello's a godsend.
Yeah, it's nice just to get quick information, and it's a place that your clients can also go. And I think most clients are pretty impressed with it, even if they don't use it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's super expensive. So,
yeah. Okay, cool.
All right.
So, group dials, group Zoom calls, group dials, however you want to say it. This is something new that our team has implemented as a source of accountability, and I think it's working really well. And I know I enjoy doing my my lead prospecting a lot more in a group environment, and it works really well on Zoom. So what we do is we have a set time every single day that you can jump on this call with our with Emily. I don't know what her official title is because she does so much, but
client care.
She started as an ISA and client care, and now she's just
agent
success coordinator. We'll think of something. Anyways, so she's on there hosting it, and you jump on and you mute yourself, and then if you get into a really good conversation with somebody, you unmute yourself so everybody can hear it and learn from you. So that is a really great way to stay accountable for not only doing your prospecting, but a really good way to learn from other people's phone calls as well.
Exactly. And you know what? I think we didn't want to get it together in the same room, and we didn't, because we can't hear each other. Like, everybody's talking and it
doesn't work.
It's intimidating for some agents, and it's just hard to keep focus. So this is the perfect way. You're on a Zoom, you're all muted. Sometimes there's more than one person in the room, but usually you're by yourself, but you're not. And I think the biggest thing is the accountability. Like the other day I wasn't going to hop on because I had to do like 5 other things. And I'm like, no, sit down and get this done. And I'm so glad I did. I made so many connections with past clients. So it's awesome. Definitely nice to have that accountability. So if you are a solo agent, you know, find a friend that you could say, hey, let's, you know, meet on Zoom every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 o'clock or whatever time you want to do it. Because I don't think we've figured the exact perfect time yet. And do it.
Do an hour of prospecting.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a great accountability.
Yeah.
Okay, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Mastermind. Join a mastermind group.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I am in one.
And it's nice when you're in one with people in a different area. Like it's not, so maybe in your local area, you don't necessarily, you can, but it's better if you can get ideas from people in different parts of the country.
Yep.
Because we all just do things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But you could also get in, I mean, one that's local too, if you have a friend. But most of us know agents out of the area, so call that agent, see, or text them, whatever, and see if they'll do a mastermind with you.
Yeah,
Maybe I've done 3 or 4.
I've done them with just one other agent, like Hazel. Shout out Hazel in Vacaville. We've gotten together a few times via Zoom. We talk about what our teams are doing. We talk about different marketing strategies. What are we seeing? What's coming? All that stuff. So we kind of think of a topic and it just spirals from there. And then I'm also in one with agents who help run teams, and some of them are actually, I think 1 or 2 of them are not producing agents. But anyways, we get together every other week on Friday on Zoom, and that has been so productive.
Yeah.
Gotten a lot out of that one.
You have.
Yeah.
You've given us some really good ideas on what to do, and or different things that we can implement on throughout the team. So that's great. Yeah, I've been in a few masterminds over the years, and they're always great. You know what we didn't put on this list, but maybe we can throw it in with mastermind is coaching.
Yeah.
If you can afford a coach, I highly recommend it.
Can you not afford a coach is the
Right.
real question.
They talk about accountability, and it's not like, that's the one thing when I joined coaching like a million years ago, I was really worried about, oh, they're going to make me do all these things. They're going to be mean to me. And they're not.
No.
I mean, they're
still people.
Really good source of getting ideas and guiding you. And so, highly recommend coaching too.
Okay.
Role play.
Number 7 is role play. So role play means getting together with another agent and just you have a script and you go through the script and you figure out what to say to certain objections. There's so many different things you can do with role play.
Right. And you can really mastermind an objection handling with that person, or
question tree, whatever it may be.
Yeah. If you aren't familiar with Phil Jones, he is amazing, and he's British, so he's even more amazing. So I highly recommend getting his book, What to Say.
Exactly what to say for realtors.
They have one for realtors.
Yeah.
So highly recommend that. We're really focusing on Phil.
Not the cat.
And
not
his
cat.
No, not your cat.
But
Phil
the
with the British accent.
Phil the Brit.
Yeah, he has some things I've never heard in the 20 some odd years that I've been doing this. It's just unique, and it's basically asking questions versus telling people things. Telling them your opinion about why they need to buy this house, or why they need to reduce their price, or why they need to. It's just a totally different angle.
Yeah, and so we've been taking his phrases and building it into our own scripts, and then we role play it, so it helps us to remember what to say in those situations.
Right. But at the end of the day, I did like did you hear what Ben Black said on, he was just talking about how, yes, role play, I guess, but just take all the great things you've just blurted out and put them all together, and try. But the hard thing is you've got that. Sometimes that just takes time. Yeah. And that was his point. He's like, just get on the phone.
Yeah.
Don't have to. So on the other hand, don't be
perfect.
You don't want to practice on your client, but you also don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
You're going to screw up.
Yeah.
So
Which is totally fine. And I think as a new agent, it's probably more important to role play than when you've been doing this for 20 years. You just more inherently know how to handle things and what to say, but it's still a good idea. And you can also help the other agents who are newer than you or on your team or what have you to handle those situations in role play scenarios.
100%. That's a good point.
Last but not least,
join a team. If you're a solo agent and you are struggling, and you're worried about paying for all the things that we've been mentioning, join a team. There are plenty of teams in Chico that you could join. And then if you're not from here, I'm sure the really good teams in your area, just contact them, talk to them, see what they have to offer. I think we're going to see a lot more solo agents joining teams.
I think that's just the way the industry is leaning anyways. Like Tom Ferry has been saying the last few years that teams are the future of real estate for the most part.
Well, the support. Yeah. I mean, the amount of support that you get.
You're joining a company. Like you're joining a well-oiled working machine.
A company, but kind of like a family, because we all I don't know. I feel like this particular team has really good culture. We have the systems, and we help each other. So it's sort of, I just remember seeing agents back in the day when there weren't really teams, including myself, sitting there going, okay, what do I do now? Yeah. What do I do? We have a whole whiteboard of things you could do.
Right.
So do other teams. I'm not just trying to promote our team. I think joining a group of individuals that are like-minded and want to help you succeed is going to help get you through the next couple of years in this business.
Cool. Good one.
All right. Thanks, Brandi. Thanks. See you on Monday. Bye. Peace out. I'm not saying it.
Peace out.
I'm not going to say it.
I'll say it for you.